Ends are being traded. Liam is playing at the World Series of Poker. I need help finding a way to win $1 million from the $1 million man himself. Let's do our best.
It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer.
All right, GM, Mr. Chess Liam. We are streaming. If you guys are here normally from Liam's channel, welcome. We are now doing these streams as just on one channel. We're alternating weeks. So if you subscribe to the Davis Maddox channel, make sure you're subscribed to the Chess Liam channel for next week's show. Liam, man, how is Las Vegas treating you?
It's going good. Played 2 events so far. Busted out of the World Series event, and then have day 2 of the ARIA MGM. I don't really know, championship today. So big opportunity there. I think 12.5% of the field will cash. There's roughly 600 people left. I don't know, 1/50th in chips or something like that. 4x starting stack. So yeah, send me some run good. Hoping it's 50-minute level, so pretty good event. Hoping I can go deep. The main event has not happened yet. The plan is we're going to sun run this. We're going to win this. Then we're going to win the main. We're just going to sun run all over Vegas, and then we'll get out of here. I kind of like one summer I spent most of the summer out here, and I kind of like just joining very late. A lot of people, they lost money, they're miserable. Not me. Coming in fresh. We're here, fresh hearts, fresh mind. Let's do it.
All right, so we have 2 things that you really wanted to talk about today. You want to talk about first, DraftKings releasing all the data to the contest up until June 28th, I believe. I don't know if it is live updating, and then also the proposed, basically you can't write off all of your losses against your wins is the way that I explained the new gambling addition to the big beautiful bill. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's just do how the events came out on the timeline. You can go to my Twitter at Chessliam, or just really any Twitter account at this point to read up on these if you're not familiar. But so first, what happened was I had been seeing some accounts sharing some hard ownership data in DraftKings. And if you're not familiar, what happens with, for example, Underdog is Underdog at the end of contest fill. So after the contest is done, they release the data of the contest. And then people like Patrick Donovan, who created bbmdb.com, made a database so that we can see, combination percentages, ownership, who drafted what teams, how many teams someone advanced. Really cool tool. DraftKings, though, is releasing this data just as the contest goes. And why I think this is a bad thing, and why I think you should email DraftKings to make your voice heard, is because, number one, how they're doing this data dump is it's on a very, very small page, which probably gets less than 50, 50 people to visit it a month. It's a very weird thing. And it's just a file of 2 million cells. So
yeah, it's literally just an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, unless you are a data scientist, you will not have the ability to dissect this data. So that's already a problem, right? We should not have to be Excel wizards, Python wizards, data scientists to know this info. The other issue is it's hard telling you how many times, you can look up how many times Jamar Chase is paired with T. Higgins. You can look up how many times Puka Nacua is paired with Brock Bowers, whatever. One of the biggest edges in large field tournaments to me is having a low combo team, right? This gives you a better chance. It was like the first article I put on my site. This gives you a better chance of advancing in your playoff pod. It gives you a better chance of winning in the end because you want clean outs. So, obviously it's not too hard to think through some of this stuff. Like, obviously T. Higgins gets paired with Saquon and Jamar Chase a lot, right? It doesn't take a genius to say that. But you should not be able to know the exact percentages. You should not be able to know all of this stuff. And so I emailed DraftKings about it. I think you guys should too. It also like anyone drafting in August can look up and be like, oh, okay, 90% of the contest is filled. And not to mention like the vast majority of casual players, they're not going to have any idea this exists, which is another problem, right? Like you should not have to be plugged into Twitter to have an edge on the field, right? Like obviously just consuming content is going to give you an edge, but there should not be like hard numbers to help you. This is not too dissimilar to me to Ethangate for DraftKings, where back when DraftKings early DFS days, basically employees of the site were like swapping ownerships of the contest locks because again, getting low owned players gives you a better chance of winning. This is like game theory 101. And so pretty wild to me that the data is public. People in August again, like they can look up and be like, oh, okay, this will give me a 1% owned combo or whatever, right? And like, again, this is stuff I'm doing already myself. Just like, I'll pull up James Cook to the 2-3 turn. I'll pull up Breece Hall to the 2-3 turn. I'll take Bucky Irving at the 1-2 turn, like things like this, right? But there shouldn't be literal data. You shouldn't be able to look up my teams that I've drafted already. You shouldn't be able to look up Davis's teams that he's drafted already. I don't know if they're providing the usernames of this stuff. And so, in my opinion, this needs to stay for this year because they've already done it. But I think for the future, it's just like, it's insane that I just don't understand what they're thinking. The only good thing is it will allow us to catch collusion teams and put pressure on them to cancel them. And, for example, there's one team I asked one of the guys who's releasing the data. I said, what's the wildest team basically? And there's one team who has Jefferson, Nabers, Bucky Irving, and then 4th round Chase Brown. So like, to me, that feels like a collusion team. Chase Brown goes in the 3rd round, right? Nabers goes in the 1st. And so Jefferson goes at the 2nd pick. This feels like a team where a bunch of guys got in there and colluded. Which DraftKings says on the data page, like, hey, just because you see a team doesn't mean it won't be canceled. So this team might have been caught anyways. But my solution there would be give us the data either the last week of the contest so that we can help you catch these, which, I mean, honestly, we shouldn't have to do as the public, or just release the data afterwards. And then our fantastic data scientist crowd can make databases and we can do really cool things with that, just like we do for Underdog, right? And yeah, someone's saying FFPC does it with Fantasy Mojo. I also think it's a joke that Fantasy Mojo gets direct data from the FFPC and you have to like pay for this.
It is not that way anymore. They have like an API and stuff that is free that anyone can access now. So
okay, in the past you had to like pay a Fantasy Mojo subscription to do this, and it's like whatever. FFPC is so small.
It was $10 a month, and you got to see all the draft boards of anything that was released. So my opinion would be first, I don't view the primary reason why I don't care about this is I don't think that there are enough people out there to create a meaningful difference in the expected value of a given entry. The second reason that I don't really care is that, well, I mean, actually, really, this is just the primary reason. This marginal shift in expected value for some of the teams that are able to parse out the combinatorial stuff really doesn't matter to the expected value because
but this is like, Davis, this
game.
is a similar argument to like if someone's playing poker and I can like peek and see one of your cards. It's like, well, it's not going to help you win the tournament that much. Yeah, you're cheating, but you're not going to win the tournament just because you're seeing one of my cards, right? Like, there's a right and there's a wrong. And when I think there's a wrong, I'm going to voice myself. Like, is this going to stop me from drafting the DK Millie? No, of course not. There's like 50 million entries in there. We're trying to get one to week 17 and win. Whatever. But I still think this is a wrong thing.
I think the poker comparisons to best ball, both in this case and in all instances, are just so obviously wrong. The games are so different. Poker hands have defined values. Best ball teams obviously do not have defined values.
Well, then for best ball, it would be like if you and me are in a lobby and, like you need a quarterback and I'm like, okay, bro, wink, wink. I'll make sure I give you that quarterback, even if he fits my team, and you make sure you give me this player. That's cheating. That's colluding. Black and white, right? And it's not the same thing. We're not colluding here, but yeah, I don't know. If Underdog did this, there would be a big uproar, rightfully.
See, so that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking in my head. Like, what if Underdog released all the permutations and combinatorial ownership? Maybe not even teams.
There'd be big uproar.
I also really wouldn't care, honestly.
Well, the reason why there's not as much uproar for DK is because we hold them to a much lower standard.
We hold them to a different standard, yeah.
Which is not a good reason, right? And so, whatever. That's my viewpoint on it. If you have different viewpoints, fine. I think most people, though, who understand think this is wild. And again, yes, it doesn't take a genius to think through.
The thing is it does just seem like a puzzling decision. Like, who is asking for this? Who wanted this? Why does it exist? I think your point about it being about fairness and collusion probably is why it was published, I would imagine, but I don't have an answer.
No, I think it was some data guy was like, oh, this will be cool to share with people. And he doesn't have any understanding of
the game.
Like, he's just like a really good moral data guy. And he has no idea about the inner workings of best ball or anything. It's just I don't know, man. They need a board of serious players to run things by. DK does. If they had to run this by me, I'd be like, guys, great idea. Release it September 1st, and here's why. I don't know. Crazy to me. Let us know what you think in the comments. Moving on to the next topic so we can get into actual drafting. Not to get into the nitty-gritty of a lot of people's lives being ruined because of Medicare and whatnot, I'll just try to talk to more selfish reasons. If you are someone who gambles in any aspect, so DFS, best ball, casinos, poker, whatever, some genius tried to slip into the big, beautiful bill that now you can only declare up to 90% of gambling winnings as losses. So just to give you a clear example of what this means, a black and white example is, let's say you won $50K on the year and you had $50K in earnings, but you also had $50K in entries. Previously, this would mean you don't owe any tax on that, right? You won $50K, you lost $50K, that nets out. With this bill, you would still owe $10K of tax on you would still owe 10. You'd be taxed as if you earned $10K, even though you lost money. So your gambling taxes are already crazy, where you're using money that's already taxed, and then you're getting taxed again. And so it would absolutely destroy any professional gambling, right? The big gamblers out there, they'll have 5 million in earnings, 4 million in entries. These people would go away. It would destroy prize pools, right? So if you want to play poker tournaments, the prize pools would go in half or something. So long story short, you can read up on this. Email your senator if you care, whether you're a professional, advantage player, whatever, or whether you are just someone who casually plays things. This is bad for all of us. So you should email your senators.
It's a bigger deal for poker players, and it's a bigger deal for sports bettors than it is, the way I understand it, for DFS. And obviously, the unspoken thing,
10% could turn to 50%,
Yeah, it definitely does apply to fantasy sports because it applies to any 1099 MISC thing.
It's a little bit different, but like, I don't know. It's money. It's like, who's asking for this? It's a very concerning thing.
It's definitely, I mean, it absolutely sucks. It's like unclear to me exactly how it applies to it. It is unclear to me the language of it, how it applies to fantasy sports, because there's like some language about sessions and things like that. Not exactly sure. It doesn't go into practice for 2 years if and when the bill passes, but it's definitely not good.
Actually, it would be 2026. So
there you go. Okay. So it's what I would say is, if you are in DFS, if you are in sports betting, if you are in anything,
ball, poker, slots, blackjack.
Yes. Now,
anything.
The unspoken thing, obviously, is that if you do 1,000 entries of best ball and you make $400 back, that's a total. You don't write off those $600.
Well, you would still be paying tax on that with this new, because like, if you're losing money, but remember, like, you're going to get min cashes. You're going to have to pay tax on those min cashes, even though you're net losing. It would destroy basically all gambling. And who knows? Like, there's this thing about like a session log, which I don't think, like, basically if you use a session log, this doesn't apply. And I don't think that's been defined. Like, is this, to me, logically, a session log is like a day, but maybe you define it as a year, so it's bad. Obviously most casual gamblers don't care about rake, right? Evidence is some of these sites, like, the FFPC's rake is egregious. If you read into it, the DK rake is pretty high. Underdog rake is pretty reasonable in comparison, but it's just more rake, right? So
yeah, I mean, if you don't get a 1099, like, and maybe the 1099 obligations will be different from DraftKings and Underdog and stuff moving forward. It's very possible. They
basically
might have to.
You should be putting more and more of your money in, less into gambling spaces and more into things like the stock market, crypto, whatever, if this is going to pass.
Yeah. It's not great. Yeah, but as Chad says, and Chad knows. Chad is a lawyer, and he says it's basically Armageddon for all professional gambling and probably fantasy sports. It really,
this is just like a second Black Friday. It really is.
The easiest way to explain it is the first way that I read it, which is that you are getting taxed on gross winnings, not net winnings. That is the way to think about it.
You should pull up Phil Galfon's tweet, because he put a good explainer out there, and then we can move on. So especially if you have a GOP senator, because they're the ones in power in the House, you should email them. Those things do matter,
Which Galfond tweet? This one?
He just put out like the basic info about it. Yeah, pull up the yikes one.
All right, here we go.
The one
you get taxed on more than you earned, even if you netted $0. If this passes in this form, starting in 2026, gambling losses and expenses will only be 90% deductible and still only up to your total winnings. What this means in plain English: if you win 100K and lose 100K, you'll owe 10K. You'll owe tax on 10K of phantom income.
Yeah, terrible.
Guys, I think it might be smarter to invest in the stock market than to gamble on sports.
I mean, stock market's gambling, right? Just not that way.
Yeah. So there we go. Speaking of which, let's go.
Here we go. Mania, and then we don't have to worry about it, huh?
Nice little round number. This is my best ball number 50.
Nice, bro. Let's ship it for number 50. I'll be right back.
All right, here we go, boys. This is a 30-second best ball mania draft. There we go. We got 19 minutes into the stream on the new gambling laws, and here we go. I have no idea. Yeah, exactly. Just win the Millie. That's all you got to do. As long as we win, nothing matters. And we got
Is it 2 million or 1.5 this year? I forget. 2, right?
2 milli. I think is it 1.5 to second?
I think it's 2 to first.
There you go. How about that? 1 milli to second. You're chilling.
100K to the regular season, dude. Let's win the regular season and
let's just get a double shipper. Yes, they are talking about banning fantasy in general in California, but they're also Underdog countersued them, which is it's quite the move. I mean, shout out to our friends at Underdog Fantasy. That is that really is sticking up for the players. Yeah,
they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about. Like, I think Underdog got it unbanned in Florida too. Like, it was banned in Florida for like 2 weeks, and I was debating moving. All right, let's talk about Jonnu Smith and Darren Waller.
Let's talk about it. I saw you do some good coat posting on Jonnu Smith.
Well, I mean, I see you on the other side. You said that this was the worst. Jonnu goes to absolute zero. So
I can't think of a worse
hyperbole from Davis there.
Can you think of a worse outcome for the tight end 7 in fantasy football than getting traded?
No, absolutely. He's going to go down in price, right? Like, that's not debatable, but that's just overall vibes of the Steelers is why. That doesn't mean he's going to be a bad pick, right? There are ranges of outcomes where he is the clear 2 besides DK Metcalf. And instead of competing with Tyreek, Achane, and Waddle to touch the ball, it's creative players like Calvin Austin, It probably sends Freiermuth closer to 0 than Jonnu.
I agree. It is definitely worse for Freiermuth of the two. Like, Freiermuth has like no ceiling.
He's the commit now. Like, he's the guy who you're just hoping falls in the end zone, which, I mean, they're probably going to run a ton of 12. And there still could be some dominoes left to fall, right? Like, Keenan could get there. Amari Cooper could get there. Gabe Davis is linked to them somewhat. You want to show us the players? Let's do a Monra. I just love his Week 17 matchup. Unless you really want Nabers.
So I agree with you on the Week 17, but I am just lighter on Nabers. I'm trying to even that out a little bit.
I don't know if it's still happening, but with the foot injury, he sometimes falls. You know?
Yeah. This is a good question. If you open a slow and see you drafted Jonnu 2 weeks ago, do you pivot and take a Rodgers stack or just say whatever and you don't care? My gut is you do take Rodgers and just say, I hope I run into the Robert Tonyan season. That is my gut. I have Jonnu on one of 49 Best Ball Mania teams. And then we get Amon-Ra anyway.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is a nice start.
So I guess Achane's going up. Like, I already had Achane ranked like right at this 1-2 turn, which was ahead of market, and I guess he's going to climb. Like, I broke down my main event draft, and in there I said, like, if Achane was going 6th overall next to Gibbs, I wouldn't blink an eye. It's like, like he's not too dissimilar a bet. It's just systematic risk of Tua. He's like kind of keeps the vibes of the Dolphins. Because, I mean, the Dolphins offense, huge upside, but they're also a team where you're like, oh, yeah, Week 7, it could just be, like, over for everyone there, But, we're trying to win, So, like, if it's over, it's over. So be it.
If it's over, it's over. So be it. I mean, that team is going to lose anyway, right?
Yeah.
If you made me choose one of the things, am I more bullish than the market on the Dolphins or am I more bearish? I'm definitely more bullish. I think that you can kind of just throw the baby out with the bathwater on the 2024 Miami Dolphins. Just kind of like an insane combination of things. Like, Mostert loses it entirely. The offensive line is injured and plays poorly. Tua gets concussed in the second half of a game. I want to say they were actually like drawing live in that game against the Bills when he got concussed. Like, am I misremembering that? Like that game actually was still hanging in the balance when he got injured, or am I misremembering
Was this some
that?
like early season game?
It was week 2, right? When Tua got injured.
I mean, dude, the Bills have beat down the Dolphins like nearly every time they played them.
All right, let me go.
Like very uncompetitive.
There's
Maybe
a
Tua got probably hurt in like the first quarter, so it's like.
All right, let's pull up the.
They were probably like 10-point underdogs.
All right, Tua. So it's 7-7. No points. Buffalo field goal. Buffalo touchdown. Where does Tua get out? Tua must have gotten injured here.
No.
Okay, no, they weren't going to win. James Cook scores a 49-yard touchdown.
The Dolphins have been a free win for the Bills in the past, like, forever. Skylar Thompson, like, he probably had the closest get of the Bills in the actual playoffs that one year.
Yes, yeah, but basically, I think that the truth is probably in the middle between 2023 Dolphins, best offense in the NFL, 2024 Dolphins, just like abject failure. And if it's closer to being the 2023 Dolphins, they're all kind of collectively underpriced.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's going to be range of outcomes where McDaniels is fired, whatever, Tua is hurt. But like, Zach Wilson even provides like some floor because he would be a distributor there. Let's show us the picks.
JSN, Kyron, Evans, Lamar, Daniels, Josh
I've
Quinn.
like drafted JSN none.
I've like taken him a couple times the last couple days, but yeah.
Let's do either Lamar, Daniels, or Mike Evans or Kyron. Your choose.
You know what? Let's do a Lamar team. I'm a little bit lighter on the elite quarterbacks than intended. Feels like those top 4 guys like drawing pretty live to really matter this year, especially because the shitty quarterbacks are really getting pulled up now with the three quarterback
feast, especially, right?
Yes.
That's like, it's a really good pivot to go to elite quarterback. And it's kind of a shaky part of the draft. Like, obviously we like all these players, but so game theory wise, I think Cook with Lamar is like a pretty nice leverage. Tet, I like too. DJ Moore, I have none.
No, he didn't. Let's do Tet.
Okay. He pairs.
I agree with your take that Lamar and Cook is like a really unique combinatorial pairing. Probably could find that out from the DraftKings data.
Not unique, just it's good leverage, right? Because Lamar leverages Henry, Cook leverages Josh. Not that Henry and Josh can't score touchdowns, but you're trying to like directly benefit from the quarterback failing in a game,
Yeah. Thoughts? We got someone just asked us. They wanted the Waller takes. Let's
first talk about Tyreek and Waddle because people are asking about that. Like, those guys are clearly going up in price too. It's just way more likely now without Jonnu competing for those short yardage targets that you're just going to get pop passes to Tyreek, pop passes to Waddle. Like, Waddle, his rookie year was like, that's what he did. A lot of yard after catch, short yardage targets. It's awesome for Achane too. So ironically, confidence in the Dolphins goes up. Waller, like, I mean, I don't know, man. I could squint and see a good season. I think them trading away Jonnu for like relatively modest money is kind of an indication that they didn't want to do what worked with Jonnu.
That's what I was telling you the whole time, that the Jonnu Smith screen offense is a symptom of a sick offense, not a healthy offense.
Didn't take a genius to like say that. A lot of people were saying that, but there's just not many tight ends who could do what Jonnu was doing, right? And so I liked taking the swing at upside. Still could work out. Obviously, the ceiling is not as good, but you could have a really good season with Jonnu because it's going to be like basically Jonnu and Warren are going to be the guys getting like dump offs from Rodgers, and Rodgers could dump off a lot, like Calvin Austin stretches the field, DK Metcalf stretches the field. Jonnu's just getting walloped over the middle. And Freiermuth has like negative yak, man. Like, what stands out to me from like the end
no juice after the catch.
He just like catches the ball and just falls right down. So Jonnu, a good pairing with Freiermuth in that sense. But Yeah, I just think all the Dolphins pieces are going to go up in price. We're just more confident in it. Like, yeah, these seem logical. Like Tyreek, borderline round 2, Waddle, 4-5 turn. Waller, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I asked over under 500 yards on Twitter. Like 90% clicked under. And so he's a bet on touchdowns. You can squint and see a Zach Ertz season, but I don't know.
That was the comp that my mind made immediately. There's also this thing that he was a little bit better than we remember in 2023, 11th amongst tight ends in yards per route run. I was surprised by that. I thought it would be much worse. All right, this is nice. This is actually going to play out very strong for us because we could just take whatever running back you want here.
I'm going to wait for this guy because I have a clear one I would like.
Yeah, would have been nice if Hunter fell, or not Hunter, if Zay Flowers would have fell 2 more.
Yeah, that's correct. Flowers just like, okay, Chuba's the one I wanted. I think we do Kamara.
Yep. Someone recently made this point to me, and I had no logical argument, which is if you are pro CMC, which I am, they're the same age, dude.
I know. It's just
you can't be like, well, if CMC stays healthy, like it's complete, and the discount on Kamara.
It feels so different, but it's not, you know.
It feels so different. Frankly, it feels so different because the Saints are just like a worse team.
And CMC's more explosive, you know.
Yeah, I wanted Harvey.
I think we do either Henderson, Mixon, Connor, Rome.
I think if you take Kamara, you should take a young guy. That's why I wanted Harvey. I think that kind of balances your range nicely.
Henderson's just a really fun pairing with Kamara though, because it's kind of like Kamara and then new Kamara.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean, I think CMC, like obviously the situation's better. He's got a better quarterback. He's got a better teammates. His peak is better than Kamara's peak. But
he can also just like get an 80-yard touchdown easier than Kamara can.
Yeah. Kamara, yes. And I mean, Kamara was playing last year and just like super faded down the stretch, even when he was healthy, quote unquote healthy. But like, you know what? Kamara does have a pretty crazy out, which is no one wants to talk about it, which is like Shuck could be okay. Like if Shuck is the 18th best quarterback in the NFL and Olave and Shaheed don't get injured, you know, I mean, they play in that terrible division. They have all those dome games. Like last year, weeks 1 and 2 in the NFL, the Saints were favored against the Eagles, Liam. The Saints were favored.
Everyone was like, oh man, why don't I have more Saints? You know?
Everyone, including me.
Yes, same. No, I like all the Saints pieces actually.
But really think about that. They were favored against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
How reactionary people are week to week, you know, like.
But it's not like everyone on earth was taking the Eagles that week. I mean, I don't know, maybe they were, but
the just to close out the Waller thing, like I kind of view signing him as like insurance. If they like, I still think they might try to get like Noah Fant, Cole Kmet. I don't think Michael Mayer makes sense. He's like young and on a rookie contract, so I don't see why the Raiders would do that. But a guy like that, and then also like one of the most bullish quotes on him is like there's a video out there where he's talking about like it's getting hit by like the Bills players, and he's like, "No, that's not for me." And it's like, brother, you're gonna have to go to Buffalo.
No, the video that is going around was him on a podcast like sometime last year, being like, I was basically playing fullback.
Yeah, he's blocking.
I was doing these interior blocks, and he said I looked up at the moon, and I just was like, man, I am not going to be playing football next year.
Yeah, and he, he's going to have to deal with people in his ear, like saying his mixtape lyrics to him, talking about his ex-wife. Like, he's a man who struggled with some mental health things too. So, like, you could just see things go like off the rails. You know,
I just like the way I'm diagnosing the Waller thing is upside at tight end is so fraught that just getting a guy, I think we should take Igbuka here. This is a super piss boys room.
I love Ibuka.
Yeah.
I mean, Mooney, I like too. I feel like we could maybe get both if we go Mooney first.
If we had already had 4, I would have said Ayuk, but we only have 3. So I just want a guy who's going to be active.
No, I said
1.
Mooney, not Ayuk.
And my mind had already filled in the blank that you were going to say Ayuk.
No, I said Mooney, but Ayuk, I feel like this is a good time where you can just get the dip.
Yeah.
Pacheco, dude, if Pacheco hits, he's a league winner. I think we should be mixing him in.
Good with me, and we should theoretically be able to draw live to Bateman, so should be okay.
And like how I like to counter some of these like extreme piss boy rooms is just like scoop up the running backs where Jones I like too. Like I like Jones more than Pacheco, but I kind of view Jones similar to Kamara, where it's just kind of like a discounted bet. It's just enthusiasm for me.
Yeah, it's the CMC is the Charizard. Kamara is the Charmeleon
with you.
And Aaron Jones is the Charmander.
I mean, is it not insane that now Jordan Mason goes within a round of Aaron Jones? Like, I'm the one who was sounding the Jordan Mason alarm back at the entry of the big board. Like, hello, this guy's available in the 18th. But
I mean, I think that honestly, I think it might actually just be rational. It really might just be rational because you have a 30-year-old running back. Jordan Mason is going to
4 picks after Aaron Jones.
I think that is probably equilibrium. I think it is.
I like Jordan Mason. I still draft him there. Most seasons, we're going to look back and be like, we just took expensive Roshan Johnson in the 8th, you know?
I mean, if he scores 11 touchdowns, he'll be an awesome pick. And if he scores,
Roshan scored 7 last year.
I was going to say 7. If he scores 7, he'll be dust. 11, including a 2 touchdown game in week 16, you're laughing. And I mean, obviously a huge part of it is what is going to happen to Aaron Jones's health. I mean, he's 30. He's had these lower body injuries, you know, his whole career. Like I think Aaron Jones has literally had a lower body injury every year he's been in the NFL.
Okay. Well, if he has a twilight season, he also just has the ability to, like, again, dump a pass off and go run 80 yards and score a touchdown. Like, that is like quintessential Aaron Jones play.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Aaron Jones is a very good player.
You can have 10 touchdowns too, and you can score a touchdown and have 10 yards in a game. That ain't it.
Do you think Bateman or Andrews is more important for this team?
I think you play the ADP. You go, well, so there are some rumors Andrews could be a Dolphin, but I think you take Andrews.
I think we might get Bateman snapped off.
All right,
here,
if you want to do Bateman first,
it's you know, it is what it is. Okay, we got a Bo Nix going, so we're sweating a little bit. I also thought
like ETN, we can mix him in for this team. Like we have a very weird running back room. Like who's building the Kamara, Henderson, Pacheco, ETN room? Who generally thinks like us, you know?
Well, I'm fine to not take ETN.
I think I've only drafted him like twice in best
ball. Now they're even getting to doing the hype for Lequint Allen.
Yeah, well, right, the Jags beats have shown that they have no idea what they're doing.
Bateman. So we now have Lamar, Kamara, Henderson, Pacheco, Nabers, St. Brown, Tet, Igbuka, Bateman, and Mark Andrews. We have
I mean, a legit insane wide receiver room we have where, like, if we stopped at 5, we're not going to, I'd be like, yeah, it's a strong room, you know? Like, having Nabers and Amon-Ra is gin. That is a gin start, you know, where both are falling for, like, injury concerns in June, but a very, very, very valuable team.
Nick had a dream that Lequint got cut in camp. Yeah, you probably should take a break.
Dude, I had a dream last night that like the kids weren't listening to me as I taught chess, and I'm like, come on, guys, stop speaking. Like, I don't know, teacher dreams. What's also nice about having Andrews on this team is if he does get traded to the Dolphins, we got Ibuka and Andrews. Week 17, we can't lose. Can't lose,
I think the window for Andrews to get traded there, like you're not gonna get 2 30-year-old tight ends. You think you max out on
Dude, Waller is irrelevant to future decisions. Just they traded a sixth. They traded a sixth in like 27 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they honestly, theoretically, they could bring Waller in and be like, "Oh, you don't have it.
You're here to mentor Pharaoh Brown."
Pharaoh Brown has got to be just about his age. Pharaoh Brown's been in the NFL for a long time.
I remember one play with the Patriots where Pharaoh Brown ran like a 60-yard touchdown.
Pharaoh Brown is 31, so I don't think he's a mentor.
Where's Brevin Jordan? Brevin Jordan's still backing up the Texans?
That's a great question.
How is that guy not getting on the field over Schultz at this point?
Brevin Jordan is a member of the Houston Texans. He had 2 catches for 7 yards and 1 first down last year.
My God. He had some good years before that, though.
Good for him. Good for him.
He tore his ACL last year. Rip.
Yeah.
Kyle Williams, pick 122. How could it go wrong?
Well, it's always on that side of the board. It's always to the Drake May drafter. Not always, but most of the time.
I mean, I think I'd be willing to just book Pop Douglas straight up over Kyle Williams.
The thing is Kyle Williams will run routes deeper down the field.
Sure. So does a lot of players in the NFL that don't matter. Darius Slayton goes in the last round.
Yeah.
Here we should take Kraft for the week 17.
Kraft for the week 17.
And be done.
Bye weeks.
Be done at tight end.
Yeah.
Kraft is drawn very live to be the number 1 target of the Packers, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Tucker Kraft could score 11 touchdowns. No doubt about it.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Like the key to fantasy this year could very easily be Packers passing game. Or like people are like extrapolating like Malik Willis games, and Jordan Love getting hurt.
31st in the NFL last year in PROE.
I think Tootin makes a lot of sense for this team.
Need a young guy, need some ceiling. We got our olds in Kamara and Pacheco. It's funny to think of Pacheco as being an old. He's 24 years old or whatever.
He's an old, he feels old,
It's definitely feels like if you had to say what is more likely, Isiah Pacheco is drafted in the 3rd round next year, or Isiah Pacheco is drafted in the 16th round next year, probably Isiah Pacheco in the 16th round.
Well, 3rd is too much, but
that's where he was drafted last year.
Okay, but Aaron Jones goes in the 8th, right? So it's like I think I'd be more willing to say Pacheco would be like where Mixon goes this year versus the 16th. I mean, I don't know. Brashard Smith, it seems like he's going to be part of the plan, but okay, so the worst outcome for Pacheco is, assuming he's healthy, is like Hunt's the goal line back. Smith is getting the passing work. And then it's like, what's that leave for Pacheco? The gin outcome though is Pacheco's the goal line back.
Well, I disagree with you. I think the worst outcome for Pacheco is that they plan on starting him week 1. They feel good about his health. They feel good about how he is going to play, and then they get to week 1. What, they play the Packers? I don't even know. And he just sucks. And he just is averaging 2.2 yards per carry, and they can't get anything going. That is worst case.
Well, I don't know if they'd care. Like they're kind of stubborn that way. Like if they think he's the best and averaging 2.2, they might. But I just have to say this. Someone mentioned Jelani Woods. I also had a dream that I saw Jelani Woods as like a draft board. This just came to me, like just like a draft board slot. And I was like, oh, someone drafted Jelani Woods. So I don't know what that means, but connecting the dots here. Anyway, sorry for that tangent. But no, yeah, I mean, but like, what's the alternative, man? Like, is it Hunt? Like, Hunt's going to average 4.5 where Pacheco averages 2.2? Like, I don't believe that, you know?
Well, it would be Eli Mitchell is healthy.
Sure. If Eli Mitchell's just like the nuts, okay.
Yeah. Which is,
I don't know.
It's relatively possible.
There are outs to Pacheco, Josh Jacobs-iness.
Oh, I mean, he could score 15 touchdowns probably if they just chose to use him that way.
Yeah, week 17 against the Broncos too, like profiles more of like the tight end and running back game, like Denver's secondary probably best in the NFL. Could be a snow game.
Yeah. And last year they finally stopped doing the just throwing all the time at the goal line, which was big for Kareem Hunt. Okay. We are up. I think we should take Bryce.
Yeah, for sure, Bryce.
I always do an extra double check on bye weeks because just nothing tilts me more than being like, oh shit. All right.
I think with Lamar, you just don't even care. You know, like you draft Lamar, sure, you would prefer.
Well, no, you extra care about the bye weeks because you really don't want to draft a third.
Well, with Lamar and Josh, they're the only two that overlap the bye. I'm saying you just eat the 0 though, because when you take one of the elites, what you're telling yourself is that you're just outscoring every other team that doesn't have an elite at quarterback, like by heaps, you know?
I hate the ground, so I love Pacheco.
Yeah, I've always thought Pacheco's a little overrated, but he just like lifts his knees really high.
Do you want to take Douglas?
No, I think we go McMillan. He's a fun pairing with just like the quarterback is the least important part of the stack. Also, is Lequint available? No,
Lequint
right?
is gone. All right. I have like no Jaylen McMillan, so there you go.
That seems you have none.
Really don't like him. Like not a like I think 1.16 yards per route run last year was like getting out targeted by Devin Culp.
I mean, Josh Palmer went out next, so it's like the yard per route run stuff. I don't want to hear when Josh Palmer goes next off the board. When you take McMillan,
that's potential. That's potential. What did we say? Potential 8 touchdowns.
No, for sure. But what you said, you throw away the nerd shit and you tell yourself the story that he scores 7 touchdowns. And I think like a lesson of last year, low key, was like, hello, buy pieces of the Bucs passing game. Their defense is still probably going to be pretty bad. They get the Dolphins week 17, and there are outs to Godwin and Evans going to dust, in which case, I mean, year 2 McMillan, man, could be good.
Yeah, I think I like to me, he is the same thing as Dontavian Wicks, but instead of you'd have to take him in the last round, you got to take him in the 14th round.
I hear you there.
I mean, I'm not saying he's terrible. Like there are outs. I just he is like. So to me, McMillan is no early season production. He's like a contingent value.
Well, I don't agree with that because we don't know if Godwin's on the field week 1.
So let's assume Godwin is on the field in week 1. How many routes are you giving him?
Well, okay, if he's on the field, that's a problem. But number 1, contingent upside alone makes him like a decent stab. Number 2, like I get the people are saying he gives me Jahan Dotson vibes. I get that connection. That's like a pattern you're connecting. But also like Baker trusted him enough that he caught 8 touchdowns. So, okay, yes, if Evans and Igbuka and Godwin are all healthy, maybe there's no spot for him. But Like, yeah, he's drawing live to be a 0, but Alec Pierce goes within a round, and he's also coin flipping with, who's going to be on the field.
Sadly, I don't think Alec Pierce is I think in my mind he's coin flipping with AD Mitchell, but I don't
draft that way, but I still think he is.
The way I understand how underdog ADP works is it's a 48-hour rolling average. So Waller will show pretty quick, probably tomorrow in ADP. All right, we are up.
Show us the players.
I think we should take a running back.
No, we should do Rico. We should do Rico for sure.
Yeah, Rico correlation. I
like Rico too. Like, I like Chuba, but I think if you like Chuba, you need to protect yourself by getting Rico as well.
There you go. Waller showed up in the super flex average draft position this morning, which probably refreshes quicker.
That's the best part of Waller is just that he's 0% drafted. Like, that's the best thing he's got going.
There you go. Waller 210.6. So he has an average draft position.
Can you show it? So, like, this team, I feel strong at wideout. I feel like we
Nabers, St. Brown, Tet, Igbuka, Bateman, McMillan.
Yeah, it's just like when you have Nabers and Amon-Ra, they're hitting your lineup every week is what you're saying. So, like, you really don't even need that many other guys. And so with that, I think we take Justice Hill here as a 6th and final running back.
Don't we kind of need more ceiling than that?
Well, you're telling you not
like I'm thinking like a Jarquez Hunter or Blake Corum guy makes more sense.
I think you're going for weekly ceiling. You're going for Lamar throws a touchdown to Hill. I like Hill, and he might just help you like get to Tootin,
I mean, yeah, you definitely when Tootin is your OZR running back 3.
He's our
he's our running back 4. Okay. Yeah. So
but like Henderson too, like he might just help us get to their like meat of playing,
I really don't. My thought on Justice Hill would be he makes a lot of sense on like true 0 RB teams, but not so much on a Kamara Pacheco.
I think it's a little too granular you're getting because like if Pacheco's a 0, we might need Hill. And like this is like we have such a valuable start, Amon-Ra Nabers. I don't want to risk it at
don't drop
back.
The baby.
Yeah, like I don't want to risk it because like what does our like where do you feel weakest on our team? We're not doing a third tight end. We're not doing a third quarterback.
I mean, our wide receivers are the weakest, but we have 2 really good guys.
How can you say that though when you have 2 legit first-round talents and then you have 2 actual first-round picks in the NFL draft, and then you have 2 guys who are good for like so it's like we just throw on
first round picks bust all the time.
Okay, but like Tet and Ibuka aren't busting. My point is we're adding 2 wide receivers to this team and building a 9 wide receiver team ain't it with Nabers.
No. I agree that we needed a running back. Absolutely.
I mean, Justice Hill's drawing live to just be a 0 because of Keaton Mitchell, but you got to mix them in, and mixing them in with Lamar makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think if the Baltimore running back rotation, if Derrick Henry gets injured, I think Keaton Mitchell comes in and takes Derrick Henry snaps, and it all stays the same.
They're trading for ETN. They're trading for, Tank Bigsby. They're trading for Isaiah Davis. Or it could be Keaton and Rasheen Lee. I mean, it's clearly not going to be Justice Hill getting 20 carries a game.
No. Justice Hill is who he is. I loved Justice Hill as a prospect coming out of Oklahoma State. I thought he was awesome. Never quite got there, but would have been fun. All right.
I mean,
we got 2 picks. We got 2 picks left. What do you want to do?
2 wideouts for sure.
I kind of want to take Miles Sanders.
No, we can't do 7 on this team. You want to do Wicks? Let's do Wicks. Week 17.
All right, there you go. Nice little week 17 correlation there. Actually, on this team, someone like Manungai or Jordan James or something could be fired.
I think we do an 8th wide receiver.
All right, 8th wide receiver. Panthers play the Seahawks. There's not really. Valdez.
You interested in the MVS week 17?
Yeah, I was about to be, but he is picked already.
For real?
Pretty
No, he's
sure,
not.
unless I missed him.
No, dude. MVS does not get
Okay,
drafted.
no. Gets drafted sometimes.
I've had a lot of success with MVS in best ball.
Probably not. Probably just any guy who's actually going to play. We could do Deontay Johnson. We could do.
Is Deontay Johnson going to play?
Maybe.
Scroll the other team. Let me see some other Week 17 correlations to think through.
Saints, Patriots, Chiefs, Troy Franklin.
Scroll.
A.D. Mitchell with Tootin.
You do Trey
Raiders,
Tucker with Nabers.
Trey Tucker. Sure. We could do.
Trey Tucker. Pick your deep threat.
Can I sell you on a third tight end?
You could, but it just seems not great to me.
These guys are in the same game. I don't know if you care about that.
I don't.
All right.
Do Mason Taylor then if you want.
Bang. There we go. Nimble fingers there by myself.
Only because he's 20 picks past ADP.
Yeah, I don't think either Liam or I are big on Jalen Coker.
I don't understand why beat writers keep on saying he's going to get cut.
I mean, because I don't think he'll get cut, but it's very likely that, dude, Hunter Renfrow was a dog. NFL, like Hunter Renfrow, before he got whatever crazy autoimmune disorder he had, was an absolute dog.
I like our team a lot. Make sure you add my name on this.
Okay, I will.
Taylor
here we
is just
go.
like, man, it's just like we got to bet on a Justin Fields touchdown, you know?
What if he runs one in? All right. Genty, Ladd, JSN, Worthy, Olave, Judy. Judy should have been Harvey. Pollard is fine. Cup at 85. Come on, brother. Come on. Ingram, Tracy, Besh at 132. I think you got to try and push that. Algier makes sense on this team. You set up the Geno thing. Ward with Pollard, Darnold. I do like getting Darnold when you take Jason, Giddens, Arroyo. Your tight ends are donating. I don't think you needed Elijah Arroyo. But GM, Lil Dodger, thank you very much. All right, Liam and I drafted.
Can't believe you recapped his team before us.
You got to follow the super chat, brother. All right, we drafted Lamar and Bryce Young, Alvin Kamara, Travion Henderson, Isiah Pacheco, Byshell Tootin, Rico Dowdle, Justice Hill. I do think Justice Hill should have been a Corum, Hunter, Manungai, Jordan James. I think it should have been a ceiling guy. I want you to
clip this, guys, when we win the regular season prize too, because of Justice Hill.
When we get the double shipper. Nabers, St. Brown, Tet McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, Rashad Bateman, Jaylen McMillan, Dontavian Wicks, Mark Andrews, Tucker Kraft, Mason Taylor.
Fun team. Yeah, I mean, the last pick could have been anything.
That is a fun team.
And I think, like Bryce plus Elite is a really fun pairing because there are definitely outs too to Bryce being like, oh my God, you needed to have him, like advanced rate king.
Yes. I mean, he sucked throwing. He was averaging like 204 yards per game last year, but he was running.
Just Lamar, that whole division is just so nice.
Double with Liam. Yeah, they get so many dome games. What's their week? Oh, their week 17 game is not as nice though.
Seattle could be, dude. Seattle is built their team to give up if things go bad.
Yeah, but the defense is still pretty scrappy. Mike McDonald, defensive coach.
They were pretty bad at D. I think he realizes, like, the Geno trade signals to me that he's sharp enough to realize that they are not good enough to win, and he wants to win.
All right, you're gonna get one of my pit bull bullets here. 22nd.
When do you think that thing's gonna fill? I didn't get all my pit bulls in.
Oh, can you not enter in Vegas?
No, you can't draft him. I can do the FFPC, so I might do like a best ball in the FFPC. I'll do some recorded videos too, but
honestly, I don't know.
The pit bull? I don't even think I can look.
It is 70% exactly. So you might get lucky.
I definitely will not get. I think we did a couple pit bulls together too.
Yes. Yeah. Can't do DK or underdog in Vegas.
Which is a shame because they wouldn't care about fantasy sports. It's only because of sportsbook reasons.
Yes, correct. Which happened a long time ago. It happened before even the UIGEA repeal, because they saw down the barrel. We are drafting 111, so let's try and not draft the same team this time. Becomes a bit of an issue when you're doing stream drafts and then you are.
I would jam 10 drafts in a row with Nabers and Amon-Ra. 20 actually.
Yeah, no, I'm or me doing like elite quarterback, taking Tet, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you take Jaylen instead of Lamar. You take Josh instead of kind of like how it went.
Yes. Yes, I can. We can do my new underdog contract started yesterday. So non-exclusive partnership now. Yeah, it is what it is. I would have ran back the same partnership if they wanted to do it, but they did not. So you take the punches as they come, Liam. That's life, absolutely, as they say.
That's gonna be my philosophy on the tables today.
What do you think about Jefferson flipping Barkley in ADP?
I think it's logical. Just going elite wide receiver is better in the first. I put Lamb ahead of Saquon too. So my ranks now have Chase, Jefferson, Lamb.
I think that is totally logical. I'm just surprised the market let it happen. Like I just thought the underdog market would be so thirsty for Barkley.
I don't think the August crowd will, but
it'd be interesting. Yeah.
The June, July crowd. Dude, if you look at the Cowboys playoff schedule, very nice. Let's do Nico.
Too late. Clicked St. Brown.
I like Nico a lot. I have him ranked pretty high.
BTJ, London. You want to do A-Chain?
Let's do AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. All right. Time box contest, brother.
He's just not going to be paired that much here.
Yes. This is very true. The underdog crowd, they are just obsessed with wide receivers.
This whole crew of wide receivers, it's just going to be like, oh, okay. Brian Thomas is a first this year. He's a second next year. He's a first this year. AJ Brown's a first round pick this year. He's a second next year. Drake London is the 5th overall pick this year. Next year, he's the 9th. Amon-Ra goes 4th in drafts. Now he goes 12th. Like, it's just going to be like, what did you do to end the season? Like, if Nico didn't get hurt, I have very firm belief he would be going at like the 106 in drafts. We're just kind of like, oh, like this ADP is very meaningless on these guys.
Sure. Yeah. The underdog crowd, all of us wearing a hot dog suit. We're all trying to find the guy who pushed the wide receivers up. Jacob just wrote a really great article about the wide receiver versus running back markets and how, frankly, backwards the market has it in terms of even still. I mean, even this year, there truly has not been that much pushback on how well running back scored. Like, you still have wide receivers going well ahead of running backs that they project for more points then.
I don't think the projecting for more points matters at all. Like, I would take a wide receiver who projects for 50 less points because you have to start 3 a week and it's more scarce, And
yeah, I mean, 3 is more than 2 is definitely a big part of it, obviously.
It's a huge part of it.
So kind of the whole point of why it happens.
Yeah, and then also it's like, after last year, what didn't happen? We don't have to pay crazy prices for a lot of it. Like, we're not paying crazy prices for Kamara, Mixon, Aaron Jones, Pacheco.
Yeah, Joe Mixon, 5th round pick,
Yeah, so it's not like, okay, yes, Bucky and Jacobs and Chase Brown and Brees and Achane and Cook and Kyron. Like these are the guys who, and Gene T. Like these are the guys who kind of like are up in price, but it doesn't really matter.
Man. Oh, Brees and Kyron went. Kind of sucks. All right, what do you want to do?
Let's take Jayden Daniels.
Okay.
I would take him QB1 overall if you made me pick Truth Serum, Jayden Daniels.
That's pretty good. That is a pretty good Truth Serum, honestly. St. Brown, AJ Brown, Jayden Daniels. I mean, I wonder what the combo ownership of AJ Brown and Jayden Daniels is. Probably very low relative to AJ Brown. Hurts. Do you want to pull Hampton up? Do you want to take Cook?
Let's take Mike. Big Mike.
Big Mike. All right, Jayden Daniels. I can't let you get away with a James Cook here.
You literally asked me to do Cook 4 seconds ago.
I wasn't actually going to click him though.
Mike and AJ Brown also just like classic underdog players.
Even though underdog drafters don't like them because they're too old.
Yeah, they are just like the quintessential like 102 type of guys.
AJ Brown had 1,000 yards on 97 targets last year.
He got hurt in a lot of games.
He's just an incredibly good player. The Eagles running into like any additional passing volume.
We didn't get him with Tua, him with
Burrow, my God.
Him with like one of the great what ifs,
What would society be like if we got 150 target AJ Brown season? What is the most targets AJ Brown has gotten in a season?
Or if his quarterback just averaged like 270 passing yards a game.
Man. Yeah. Last year, AJ Brown, or 2 years ago, 2023, he did get 158 targets and turned in 106, 14, 56, and 7. Unbelievable, man. He's really
probably the
is.
best wide receiver against man coverage too. Like he's impossible to cover. He just runs right through you.
Yeah, what do you even do to AJ Brown? There's really nothing. There's really nothing he's a great route runner too. A lot of guys his size are not great route runners. I mean, he's like a technician. Let's get 503 Jalen Hurts pass attempts.
That'd be fun.
What would AJ Brown do in a Kirk Cousins offense? Justin Jefferson's best season, 180.
Probably be like 1,800 yards.
Justin Jefferson's best season was 184 targets, 128 receptions, 1,800 yards, and 8 tuds. I mean, you give AJ Brown that volume, he's just
Jefferson is awesome, but he doesn't have the yard after catch ability of AJ Brown too. Like Jefferson is like the best route runner I think in the NFL, but still, like Yak is a part of his game that's just not quite the same as like a Chase or Brown.
Yeah,
and he's not.
He's good Yak, but not the same as Chase.
And he's not as strong as AJ Brown. Like AJ Brown is like a slim Debo.
Take your pick.
You want to do James Conner? I don't get that much of him. Like I started the season really hot on him, and I've just not been getting enough recently. So.
We'll just sub out the old from last time. We took Kamara last time. We'll take
swap your old
this time. Swap your olds. It's actually that's good advice.
Yeah.
Henderson, Judkins, Jennings. We could do
Let's
Jennings.
do Rome this time.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have a hard time with Rome, obviously.
Me too.
Because I think he probably is pretty good, but he's the one that has the widest range of outcomes, and you're getting no discount on him at all.
I think the whole team has wide ranges, man.
Give me your Bears philosophy. I got to go pee real quick.
I'm not drafted enough of DJ Moore or Rome, And so I'm going to be purposely trying to get more of them. Like I've upped Rome or more in the rankings. I think we just need to throw away last year for the Bears. And I mean, I don't like that DJ Moore was pouting on the sideline. I don't know if it matters for fantasy football, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, let's remember the cautionary tale of Jameson Williams, a guy who went top 10 in the NFL draft. We left him for dead, and now he's back. What happened to Rome? Went top 10 in the NFL draft. We're not leaving him for dead, but, Bears new O-line. I think you just got to, like, plug your nose and take Rome because he could be a guy who you're like, what the heck was I doing? And he had a lot of, like, end zone targets last year.
Yeah, he did. I know that. I know that from doing the DFS show and like looking at like the expected points and stuff. He did get a lot of that. So I'm, for whatever reason, I like in my rankings and how I'm drafting, I am just throwing out last year's results for the Bears. I'm like, oh,
don't we have to? Like, so much has changed,
You do, but also Caleb Williams is in such a bad statistical cohort that it really, at the end of the day, it should not be surprising if we click the names at the end of the year and we're like, oh, actually, these dudes stunk. Like DJ Moore got his, but Swift was inefficient. Caleb ate a bunch of sacks. Loveland was not able to get over the shoulder injury. Like it's. I mean, dude,
Caleb was down the stretch. Caleb was actually pretty okay for fantasy. So I think fantasy football wise, we don't like Caleb is going to be hard to fail, seeing as how much he runs the football. Now the pass catchers, okay, they need him to be productive, but yeah, I don't know. I've not been doing as much of the Bears thing, but I think when you do the Bears thing, like you probably want to be getting a couple of the guys. Like I've been doing more of the cheaper Bears thing, like Loveland, I think is egregiously cheap, and Burden is pretty cheap too.
Yeah, no, I think that is totally real. Caleb is probably a little overpriced relative to like. See, I guess he runs a little bit.
He runs a lot, man.
You want to take Aaron Jones?
Yeah, let's do Jones for sure.
Jones, then Mason?
Both of them, you're saying?
No, I'm just teasing.
Oh.
What's our second quarterback plan is like pretty thin here, and we're gonna have to do a back stack.
Also, I had like a ton of Rome last year, so like I'd just be tilting if I didn't do any,
You want to do Hawk and maybe try and get McCarthy? Sets up our week 17.
Week 17. Mooney makes sense too.
Brian
Robinson makes sense.
It's too late. I didn't click. I forgot he was 20-second clock. I forgot we were on the 20-second clock.
They're all fine. And the clock is just like I saw yesterday that I think Hockenson, Addison, and Jefferson have only ever been on the field together for like
none, like no snaps.
Yeah, which makes you think, maybe that means that Addison and Hockenson are just a little bit overpriced because they've all not been on the field together, and Jefferson is so dominant, So, and I don't like think Hawkinson's the best fit in the world for half point, but whatever, fall in the end zone at the right time. That's
Hockenson. In everyone's mind eye, TJ Hockenson is like this awesome player. So TJ Hockenson got drafted in 2019. What was he, the 8th overall pick?
He was like my most drafted player when he was tight end 1.
He was the 8th overall pick. Good call up by me there. Guess career receiving yards for TJ Hockenson.
Like total or just highest?
Total since 2019.
2,700.
Oh, okay. You went way low. It's 4,000.
That was gonna be my first guess, and then I said,
0 touchdowns in 9 games last year. That's just what you can't have for Hockenson. You can't have 0 touchdowns.
Well, I drafted him 0% last year because I was just worried about the injury. So I don't care.
See, I was a Hockenson bull last year.
And it works, but it didn't work because you didn't get the touchdowns, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like he's just kind of like slotted here.
Isn't it so funny how fantasy works where it's like, oh yeah, TJ Hockenson actually came back way earlier than expected from his injury. The passing offense was awesome. They scored a bunch of points. Like he should have been a good pick, but he didn't score any touchdowns, so he was an awful pick.
Well,
Like,
he was so cheap. He was so cheap that he's not an awful pick. He was like a 15th round pick.
I frankly did not remember. So no chance is McCarthy going to get to us at 131 because the Jefferson drafter does not have a quarterback. Do you want to take him here?
I think who do you want to take?
McCarthy. There's no chance he gets back to us.
You don't want to do Goff with Amon-Ra?
Sure. Yeah,
I also think Naked Bow is totally fine to just play the. Yeah, I think Goff, McCarthy, they're fun. You could even go McCarthy. You go 3 quarterback, get crazy with it.
Yeah.
Caleb. Yeah, I would have done Caleb if I had thought about it. I just kind of like correlating the Caleb.
No, I think you want the quarterback with your most expensive wide receiver. All right, what do you want to do here?
Well, also we have that game more stacked.
Yeah.
Let's do Burden.
Yeah. I actually have been a little bit of a fear-based drafter on Burden. I've stopped drafting him as much right now. But that's very cowardly of me.
It's just the quarterback is the least important part of the stack, and so we're making the bet on the Bears without the quarterback. You know, like we did that the last draft too.
It's the most replaceable part of your score in week 17.
And it's real like that. Like we did that last draft too, where we had Lamar and the Bucks guys, and it's like, okay, Lamar outscores Baker, but we're still getting the Bucks passing game.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's conceivable that no quarterback scores more than 28 in week 17. I mean, obviously that is unlikely, but it's possible.
It's only unlikely because so many teams give up by then. You know, like
yeah.
If had a random week.
So did you disagree with this with me? Can you discuss the quarterback with the most expensive wide receiver? I lean the other way. Yeah, because the most important part of your team is the guy that you spent the greatest amount of draft capital on. So it's most important for you that he produce well, right? Particularly in week 17. That would be my thought.
In general, I agree with you. I just view Caleb as a higher upside pick than Goff, and I personally have a lot more Goff than Caleb. And we took Burden with the next pick, which we could have kind of like thought through. But it's like there's really no wrong answers here. It could have been McCarthy, it could have been Goff, it could have been Caleb. The answer is, 40% of the time you take Caleb, 40% of the time you take Goff, 20% of the time you take McCarthy. Like, people need to stop thinking so black and white in general.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I have to justify taking Burden to justify the fact that I took him 40 picks earlier a month ago.
Generally how I think too, right?
Yeah, you ain't wrong about that, brother. I was looking at some big board teams the other day, and I was like, oh, this one looks really nice. Look at Burden at 82, Burden at 74. I was like, okay, not that nice.
It doesn't matter for that one though, because that's just where he's going in all the teams. Jonnu
McCarthy.
I think Jonnu's appropriately priced in the 11th to 12th. Like, if you want, I think you could take him after the Kincaids of the world, after the Crafts, but like one here seems totally fine to me.
Yeah. Okay.
But a guy in my Discord came up with a really fun contest idea that I'll share after we make our picks here.
I can't do another.
I want to do Warren for sure.
Okay.
Think he's just a really nice pairing with Hawk.
Spider-Man pointing meme. Two big burly fellas. All right, let's do Connor Jones. I don't know. Garendo.
I like Garendo a lot. I like Ray Davis a lot.
I have this kind of rule in my head that I want to take one of the 49ers running backs like almost every time. So
I have Grendo ranked higher than like that tier of running backs, but the market doesn't. So, and we have the Bears thing. So the week 17. So this guy in my Discord,
yeah.
sorry.
Hold on, wait. I gotta take umbrage or something you said. Jonnu is not fine in this range. Jonnu is like a 15th, 16th round pick.
I think that's a far overreaction. If the market does that, he's an absolute smash there. But I would have him ranked like after Kincaid, after Warren, probably ahead of Likely. Like maybe after Ferg. But yeah, no, I think this is like a fair price for him in the 12th. He might go lower just because sentiment on the Steelers is going to be low, but I like him there.
Yeah, I do
This
not.
is not bag defending, dude. He was going in the 8th. This is a much cheaper price.
Let's see. Where do I have him ranked? Oh, did he already go? I have Jonnu.
Like he for sure go ahead of Kyle Pitts.
I have Jonnu ranked one spot ahead of Hunter Henry.
That's egregious. Like Kyle Pitts should not go ahead of him. I mean, there's a lot of tight ends to like here. I think the market might put him there. That doesn't like. There's a difference between what I think the market's going to do and what I think his value is. Sure. Let's get him in the last round. I would love to scoop up Jonnu in the last round.
I would take him if he was available after like Likely and Pitts and those guys.
I just don't know like what you can sell yourself on Pitts that you're like, yes, I got to get him, but I can't take the guy who was better than him. And again, with tight end guys, you're trying to get a touchdown. There are so few tight ends in the NFL who you can throw a 5-yard pass to and can go score a touchdown for you. Jonnu can do that. And he also has outs to being Robert Tonyan,
Waller or Jonnu? Jonnu still.
That's not even a close to a question. My God.
I like Waller. I'm willing to be a little bit overexposed there. All right, we're up in 2 picks. We have Daniels, Goff, Connor, Jones, Guerrero.
And also, by the way, Rodgers has outs to being very good this year too.
Right, because we should take a running back. Which one do you want?
Tank, but if you want to do blue, I'm okay.
Maybe we get both of them.
Eckler with Daniels, probably we should do actually.
Eckler with Daniels, yeah.
So the contest idea that someone in my Discord came up with, sorry if I'm forgetting your name, but his idea, it's like an eliminator contest where you draft in your lobby, but you're only competing with all the other teams in the same draft slot. So every team drafted in the 1 hole competes with each other in the 2 hole, etc. I think it's quite fun because it really adds the game theory, right? Like now duping yourself is really bad, right? So I don't know exactly how it would work, but some version of an eliminate, like whatever, a bunch of pods, you're with another week 2. If you drafted in the 2 hole, you drafted against another 2 hole team. Sounds fun. And then week 17 is a 12-person pod with the best team from the 1 hole, the best team from the 2 hole, the best team from the 3 hole, etc.
So, I mean, the first thing that jumps out about that contest being like in practice not as fun is just how much you're going to get duped. Just going to be.
There's huge edges in there simply not duping. Like in the 1 hole, you should be taking guys like Derrick Henry instead of Jamar Chase, just to like have a clean out. You should just take Nabers. You should whatever.
Yeah. I suppose that could be fun. I mean, it's only fun if it's for a lot of money, right? Like it's not fun if it's it is an interesting idea. And like, I don't know, Underdog might start thinking about like, depending on how big they get, like, if they could get Best Ball Mania, this is an interesting one. Do you think if they made Best Ball Mania 1 million entries and didn't open any other contest, do you think it would fill?
Easily.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would not have to not offer other contests. You know, like they could just eat the overlay, like as like a marketing thing too.
Well, yeah, they definitely could.
Like Drafters does that every year. They just eat the overlay.
Which I don't know. Is that good marketing for them? I mean, I guess it is. I don't know.
But dude, if any person who's trying to make money understands overlay. So yes, I would say overlay is a huge marketing thing. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is how DraftKings made their hay. You know.
Underdog too. Like all these sites early in their life. Did you know that the one of the founders of Drafters, he won a bracelet this summer?
Yeah, I had a call with him last week. What do you want to do?
Diami Brown.
Yeah. Well, I had a conversation with him last week, Zach. He shipped a bracelet. How about that?
That's sick. I mean, good correlation with Tank, by the way.
We need another running back.
Do we? I can't see our team really at all. Yeah, we definitely.
James Conner, Aaron Jones, Isaac Urendo, Tank Bigsby, Austin Eckler.
Let's do Chubb. I don't have him at all.
Nimble fingers. Nick Chubb actually fits this team quite well because it's the AARB room. James Conner, Aaron Jones, Isaac Urendo, Tank Bigsby, Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb. We have all the oldest running backs in the National Football League. This is probably a 7 running back team.
Did you hear the Eckler pod with Levitan?
No.
I listened to it. Most of it not that important, but something he did say I thought was interesting was that, like, oh yeah, the depth chart stuff is meaningless a lot of the times. He's like, yeah, my rookie year I was running with the third team the whole time, and then I made the team. Or so, you know, for some teams it's probably more meaningful than others, but it's a good thing to remember as training camp goes. It's like blank is running with the runs or ones or twos might not matter in June.
So that's a good point. There was, speaking of that, there was a maybe noteworthy, maybe not noteworthy thing that Lequint Allen is getting a bunch of reps in pass pro with the first team group of running backs, which is honestly, should be his exact role with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, it's a complicated factor with Tootin. I'm not taking any Allen yet, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm not taking any of him yet. I mean, I have a bunch of him in the big board, but if he makes the team, like if they have 4 running backs, that is like nightmare fuel. You know, then he becomes the Dare Ogunbowale, you know, on the Jaguars, who's eating the snaps that would have sustained some of the fantasy value for, I guess in this situation, probably ETN. ETN's probably the one.
That's the other thing Eckler said, is he said, like, as a rookie, it is so hard to see the field. He was talking about Ja'Cory Croskett-Smith. He's like,
Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt.
Yeah, Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt. He's like, the number one thing is blitz pickup. Like, you might be able to run the football, and that's great. But if we don't trust you to keep the quarterback safe and you don't do special teams, you're not getting on the field, or you're not making the team sometimes. So, cautionary tale for those who just keep on jamming Jarquez Hunter, DJ Giddens, everyone, you know?
It's not about the third down player themselves. It's about Dearness Johnson taking the third downs from another player. Like, part of the reason why Tank and ETN struggled to get fantasy points is that they were leaving the field on third downs.
Can you show me the whole team we have right now?
Yes, we have Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, James Conner, Aaron Jones. We have a 2-6-6-2.
Show me the wide receivers on our team.
They're not great.
You're not showing me. All right, let's do Tutu Atwell. You're not scrolling. Okay, yeah, let's do Tutu Atwell.
I was trying to get Isaac Tesla, and somehow he was already picked.
You sure?
Shout out Baron Mooney. Tough. Yeah, guys like Jamal Agnew, just like they have no fantasy value, but boy, do they steal it from other people.
Who are two
all
tight
right.
ends again? Oh yeah, Hockenson and Warren. That's
Hockenson
right.
and Warren.
I think we do another wideout.
Let's do.
Actually, that's close. If you want a running back, that's fine with me too.
Yeah, we need a running back. Actually, I'm going to take Corum.
Our running
backs are just a million years old.
Smith or Corum, sure. Yeah, I like the Corum and 2-2 correlation.
Yeah. All right. Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, James Conner, Aaron Jones, Isaac Urendo, Tank Bigsby, Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, Blake Corum, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, De'Ami Brown. A lot of week 8 buys, a lot of week 9 buys. Tutu Atwell, Hockenson, and Tyler Warren.
That's on you as the driver, man. I can't see the buys of the squad.
That's fair enough.
It can work still because we're gonna have 4 active wide receivers at minimum a week.
All right, Johnny Tufton, drafted out of the 12 hole. He did Nico and Ladd. He pulled Ladd up for the correlation. Terry, I don't like taking Terry without Jaden. That's just me. Tet, Ridley at 60. So you're going full piss boy.
He wanted a reaction.
He went full piss boy. Kamara and Pollard, I don't love as a pairing.
I think that's really good when you have you just got to take the guys available and they're week 17 correlated. You have a bunch of wide receivers. I think that's like a gin outcome for him. It might not work out, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh shit. I closed it. Pitbull. What do we call this one? Daniels with Liam.
AARP.
AARP. I already have several of those. All right, we got to go back. All right, so he did Cup at 85. I'm not loving it. Sharbs, Bateman, Ramondre.
Yeah, Cup should probably have been a running back.
Yeah.
But yeah, who's that's
Penix and he did the Penix and Pitts. Classic. Darnold, Sanders, Ferguson, just too many olds at running back.
I probably am stopping at 2 quarterback more often with Herbert and Penix, but others disagree. Go with God on that one.
Yeah, instead of taking a third quarterback, I would have taken a third tight end with Pitts and Ferguson.
Yeah, that is a very you're drawing live to just 1 tight end all year and maybe actually 0. Yeah, depending how Pitts does.
All right. Do you have to leave or do you want to do one more?
I gotta go.
Okay. Everyone, give Chess Liam all the love, all the good graces over at the World Series of Poker. What is the event if people want to rail?
Say it again.
What's the actual event if they want to rail online?
Oh,
because they can follow chips, right?
The ARIA MGM Championship. I think you can poker.org or poker. The people who report on poker, I think they'll be probably covering it. If I make the final table /win, it would be live stream in the Poker Go studio. So that would be lit.
That is very cool.
Someone's asking when the main event, Poker News, maybe. Yeah, it's Poker News. Someone's asking when the main event started. I think actually day 1 starts today. I don't know which flight I'm playing yet, but probably after I win this tournament. So starts in an hour and a half for me. So I'm gonna go get some eggs or something, some protein, and then
all right, get your protein in.
On my end, folks, I'll probably have updated rankings for the main ones on Underdog and DraftKings just to reflect the Jonnu trade tomorrow morning. Thank you, Davis. Peace out,
Thanks
everybody.
for coming on, brother. Appreciate you. Liam, have a great day. And everyone, go and support. I'm still gonna, we got enough people hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead and draft another one. Let's go ahead and get back into the pit bull and see if we can avoid taking an elite quarterback this time, right? I think we've all had enough of the elite quarterback teams. Yeah, everyone shout out my boy, Chess Liam. Pretty cool. Obviously, in another lifetime, I would really enjoy to go out and play at the World Series of Poker, but the people demand 30 hours of live streams a week. Yeah, honestly, the back half of drafts are just so good for elite quarterbacks. You sit in that second half of the lobby and you're like, dude, do I want Xavier Worthy or do I want Josh Allen? God, and I'm in the back half again. I'm drafting out of 11 again. I've played a lot of poker in my life. Wouldn't say I'm, a great card player. Liam leaves and Davis hops in another pit bowl at 1.11. Yeah, I played a lot of cards in my life. Wouldn't say I'm the best. Also wouldn't say that I'm the worst. I've read a lot of poker books. Andrew Brokos's poker books are really good. And the David Sklansky books. We talked about the gambling tax at the beginning of the stream. So if you go and click on the timestamp that is at 11 minutes, you can go and check that out. Yes, Lamar's playoff schedule is really nice. Poker players do complain about the GTO solvers for sure. Very similar tenor to the conversation. Yes, Theory of Poker, great book. I used to play a lot of poker when I was in college. There was a small casino that was about 30 minutes away from where I went to college. And we would go play a $65 no-limit hold'em tournament. Best Ball Bros, honestly, are less fucked than most gamblers when the new gambling law gets finalized, because guess what? Most of you are going to lose anyway. And that is a big part of it. Have not seen the trailer for it. Seems fine, the new project. Hail Mary. All right, we are at 11. I actually would like to get Nabers here. I am so much lighter on Nabers relative. Yeah, just got back and it's another 11 hole. I did see the controversy over the way the Millionaire Maker ended. Didn't actually seem like anyone did anything wrong. All right, I'm kind of tired of the Piss Boy teams. I'd like to get Genty on this one, and we do get Genty because Nabers goes. Because I've been taking Nabers recently, I've been feeling a little bit lighter on the Genty teams. I've not read a Harrington book in a decade. Probably longer. Wow, Rashee Rice at the turn. Okay, I will take Brian Thomas Jr. there. My guy WD Simp 12 did Amon-Ra St. Brown and Rashee Rice. Honestly, I actually don't hate that. I think that is totally legitimate. Rashee Rice does not project that differently to me than like Drake London or someone like that over a 17-game time frame. And that's going to be a very unique combination. And this is a much smaller tournament, right? Although Gibbs London, Derby Rhino just got an absolute shipper there at the turn. I don't think this is true. Ryan's saying, do we think Underdog is slow rolling, releasing new contests because they're spooked about CA legislation and filling the other contests? I don't think that. I mean, there are a ton of contests in the lobby right now on Underdog. You got the Pitbull, you got the Corgi, you got all these. I don't think they are doing that. Reflect the Sun has 0 Rice. Yes, it's a little bit harder to do in Best Ball Mania, in my opinion. I think you're probably right. I mean, I'm taking Rashee Rice where he goes, but I'm not like purposefully pulling him up. So this is the way I understand it, JB, the Rashee Rice thing, which is that the injury to his knee is less structurally damaging than an ACL or an MCL because he tore, right? It's not even his PCL, it's his LCL. So this is more akin to again, I am not a physical therapist. I'm not a doctor. But it's more akin to like a meniscus injury. So it's more of like a 6-month injury than a year-long injury. No, I could be wrong, or the reports could be wrong, or whatever. But that is the way that I understand the reason why Rashee does not have as much of the typical post-injury concerns. He's also, again, to my understanding, he has also already completed his rehab. There we go. Hateful Huck says it doesn't hurt his lateral movement compared to the ACL, MCL. Yeah, that's just based on my understanding. Not a doctor, not a physical therapist. All right, Jaden Daniels is there. All right, I said I was going to try and not take an elite quarterback, but I think I lied. I think I'm going to do the exact same thing again. I'm going to try and take McLaurin and Daniels together. WD Simp might not let it happen, but you never know. Yeah, take CMC and Rice together. Call it they're the full go team. You know, if they're good, they're good. I had this concept for a video on the channel, which was the draft like your right team, but it's basically only drafting like the most volatile or injury prone guys. And then, all right, there we go. We did set it up. Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Genty, Daniels, Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin. And so effectively it's like at every pick you go, okay, well, what happens if this thing goes right? Like, okay, what happens if Tet is Brian Thomas Jr.? What happens if Travis Hunter is a full-time wide receiver? What happens if Kenneth Walker totally shelves Zach Charbonnet? Kind of an interesting thought that I had. Don't know how good a content that is, but it seemed pretty good to me. This is actually a very hot fire start. try that strategy every other pick. Should draft a team based off the week 17 nuts, forcing weird week 17 pairings. That's a good idea. I like another thing I thought is every pick you make has to be based off of a week 17 pick already on your roster. So like you have to start Nabers Bowers, or you have to start Bijan Adams, or I guess 49ers doesn't really work. You could do Barkley Cook or Jefferson JMO or something. I think that one seemed good. Does a Daniels Brian Robinson Jr. stack make more sense than a Stafford Kyron? No, I think a Stafford Kyron makes more sense because they're more related to, like, Kyron is more likely to have a receiving touchdown, right? I don't know. Let me fact check that. Let me see if that's actually true. Kyron Williams in his career has 5 receiving touchdowns and 75 receptions. Brian Robinson Jr. in his career has 5 receiving touchdowns and 65 receptions. Yeah, I think I'm probably correct about that. Yeah, apparently today is just elite quarterback day. Apparently that's what we're doing. I have been a little bit lighter on elite quarterbacks than I wanted to, and I do think elite quarterbacks are pretty strong. Wow, Lamar went at 25 here. People are getting their guys in the pit bull. You do have a fire start out of the 2-hole. You've got Jefferson, Tyreek, T. Higgins, Hampton, and Pickens. That is fire. You should do a getting weird in weird rooms one. You could argue RTAs hurt you in those ones. It's interesting. It's a good concept. No, I have not drafted a BBM team specifically to win the regular season. Because honestly, there's a big overlap between those strategies. Yes, Waller does have an ADP. Right now it's 210.6. Well, that's not true. Josh Allen can score a bazillion points. Josh Allen could have multiple 50-point games. I don't think it's a farce. The 7 hole is building a fire team. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Gibbs, London, McBride, Devonta. Wow, he got Hurts at 55 too. All right, I took Rome last time. God, this spot is annoying. Let's do Olave. Let's pull Olave up here a little bit. Brian Thomas Jr., McLaurin, Olave, bunch of wide receivers who never score 20 points in a game. Yeah, Derby, you are cooking right now. This is an absolute cook draft. I don't really want to take Henderson with Genty. Maybe Harvey. Harvey might be good here. Double rookie running back. Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. No. No, let's take Rome. Could get too far behind at wide receiver there. There'll probably be a running back I want to pick at 83 or 86. You would think. You know, that range is like Pacheco, Pollard. Could do Brian Robinson Jr. and Jane Daniels together. You have to draft like you're right, but what if you draft like you're wrong? Take your lowest exposure player within 5 ADP of every time. That is a good bit. That honestly, that would be kind of fun to draft. Good theory question here. If you drafted 150 teams to win the regular season prize, how much higher would you estimate your advance rate might be? Probably not that much higher. You know, if you're looking at advance rate questions, so much of it just relies on who are the stories of the season, right? Who is this year's Barkley? Who is this year's Kamara? Who is this year's Henry? Because there is no replacement for points. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter your roster construction. It doesn't matter how you structure your bye weeks. It doesn't matter your stacks. I mean, you would maybe marginally improve your advance rate if you didn't care about playoff schedules or correlations at all. If all you worried about was projected points. Thoughts on the Texans pieces? What are the Texans value pieces? Are there any Texans value pieces? I like Knoll the most relative to ADP. I think Chubb is like fine as like a chaperone. And I don't really like Woody Marks at all. And I barely have Dalton Schultz ranked. I think the Texans value pieces are not great. Would be my answer there. Yeah, I mean, drafting for the regular season would be like drafting the marathon, but drafting the marathon it's not all that different other than that. I guess you don't want rookies. You just wouldn't want rookies as much, right? So we have Daniels, Genty, BTJ, Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Roma Dunze. Oh, damn. I was going to say Caleb Johnson is like the absolute nutted pick here. I'm going to get one of Montgomery or Pacheco. I think Marauders here is probably going to take Montgomery, but I'm actually happy to have Pacheco as this. Ooh, all right. That's a bink. That is a really nice thing when you're building a hero running back team and you get a big value like that, because that totally changes the complexion of this team. Getting David Montgomery, like, it projects better. It's more anti-fragile. That was very nice for us right there. And now, like, we don't have to. We could take Tony Pollard, or we could take like a Michael Pittman Jr. What do we do? You know what? Let's take a Pollard. I like having 3 running backs through 8 just gives me more flexibility, because I'm really not bound by any position now. I mean, I'll probably take 3 tight ends, but I'm really positionally not bound by anything. Is Leone's draft capital bucket thing the same if we just assigned every player auction values and built that way? I think yes, right? I think that is the way that it works. Oh no, the bye week bros are coming. Oh, double 8s. Yeah, Genty Montgomery, the bye week bros. They're loud, and they're loud and furious. Okay, how many best ball manias would you draft if there was no 150 max? Well, Ryan, in this scenario, what is the prize pool? Is the prize pool based on how many entries there are? Like it's not a guaranteed prize pool, and it's just based on how many people choose to enter it? Or is it like guaranteed to be a $20 million prize pool or a $15 million prize pool or whatever? And my entries can just make up however much of that I wanted. The bye-week bros are saying, get your shit together. I think the answer is, honestly, the way that I view best ball is I would just do all my best ball entries in Best Ball Mania. Like I wouldn't be drafting in the puppy. I wouldn't be drafting in the corgi. I wouldn't be drafting in the pit bull. I would just say the whole point of this activity is to win life-changing money. I want to win life-changing money. Okay, it's the latter. I mean, I'd probably do 500 or something if there was no entry max. That is my thought. If you could hit optimize on your exposures for your best ball portfolio in the same way that you can for your 150 max DFS sets, what would you want your exposures to look like? That's actually a fascinating question. Now, keep in mind that there's definitely a difference between exposures and teams, in the sense that just because you have 27% of Xavier Worthy doesn't mean they layer correctly on the teams. I would have to think about it. I mean, what I think ideally you'd have a bunch of guys in like the 14 to 18% range, and then have, also a bunch of guys in the 2 to 4% range. Like you'd want to create some real strong stances. Could do Trey Harris, could do Bateman, could do Burden. Man, Trey Harris is such a tier break. I'm going to take Trey Harris. He just feels like an absolutely massive tier break. It's definitely personal growth to draft players you don't like. It's very hard. How many drafters teams are you doing? I don't know. I'm actually thinking about doing, I'm going to take Evan Ingram here over Mark Andrews. I had a call with the guys from Drafters last week and would like to potentially do a business deal with them. And if we are able to get a business deal done, then I will probably do 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. By the way, I do have a new partnership going on with Fast Draft. Promo code Davis gives you a $50 deposit bonus over there. I just put the link in the description. One of the absolute easiest ways to support the channel. Yeah. Draft players you don't like, not on Jacob Sanderson's watch. He's not going to let you get away with it. Yeah, no, nothing. I now have no more exclusive deals. All my partnerships now on the channel. I don't think Drafters is going to give you a reload bonus instead of a first-time bonus, but you never know. Changing environments. Basically, the way I would assume the way the Drafters thinks of their promotion is that the overlay on their big tournament is probably the reload bonus. The money they're giving you is in the overlay. I don't think the projections ever change on Underdog. I would guess, like, what is Waller projected for 0? No, Waller has a projection, so sometimes they do change him. That's kind of interesting. I've never looked at the projected points on Underdog. Our team is Jaden Daniels, Ashton Genty, David Montgomery, Tony Pollard, Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Roma Dunze, Trey Harris, and Evan Ingram. So we've got Shuck live. We have Lawrence live. Caleb's gone. Herbert's gone. Might make sense. This could be a 3 quarterback team. Honestly, even with that is one of the things we learned from The Sims. Actually, honestly, one of the most surprising things from The Sims was that 3 quarterbacks are still adding points to like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson teams. By week 8, by week 12, let's just take Trevor Lawrence here. So with Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence quarterback room, feel good about that. Second tight end. Tell you this, Colston Loveland ADP fall, not making a ton of sense to me. Yes, yeah, new promo on Underdog. Enter 4 teams in the Sprint Marathon Eliminator weekly winners, and you get a $50 bonus fund, like rake back, I suppose. I assume that, yeah, it's absurd in a good way to me. I'm taking Urendo again. Can't stop, won't stop slapping Isaac Urendo. Slow drafts count as well. You could do slow drafts. Yes, I do drafts on the FFPC for the main event. Well, they definitely will fill because of the promo, Ryan. See how that works, brother? Yeah, I play the Fantasy Football Players Championship main event. And in fact, if you want to see one of the teams that I've drafted in the main event over on the Ship Chasing channel, me, Peter Overzet, Patrick Corain, and Jacob Sanderson are doing mini-sodes of the team that we are slow drafting right now. Spoiler alert, we auto-drafted Alvin Kamara. Tough scene. I mean, I think a lot of... I assume it's 7-4. I assume the dates are 7-4. I mean, I can pull the tweet up. Underdog drafts. Yeah, my good friend in the chat got the dates wrong. Enter 4 teams, 16 total, into the Sprint, Marathon, Eliminator, and Weekly Winners by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. By midnight on Friday, July 4th, receive $50 in bonus cash. Both fast and slow drafts are eligible. That is a good promo. To me, that is quite a good promo. I might enter it. I don't know. Does Dave Maddock or Davis Maddock? I think probably Dave. I think Dave projects for more best ball winnings. Dave is taking his craft very seriously. Dave really wants to win. All right. One more wide receiver. This is a real De'Ami Brown team. This will also be a good Brenton Strange team. Ingram and Strange together is very funny. This is a good Jaden Blue team. This is a good Algier team. This is a good Bigsby team. I'm gonna a nice pocket in this draft. I'm about to get 2 guys that are gonna make my team a lot better. I think I do running back first, then Strange, because Strange is the less important part. You know what? Let's do the stack. Let's do Cartavius Bigsby, and then we'll take Brenton Strange, assuming that he's still available to us. Well, sure, but not every promo is going to be tailored to exactly what you like. I mean, $50 back for 16 entries is pretty good. All right, we've got Strange. So now we have a 2-5-5-2 with Daniels. I guess Daniels unstacked, not that it really matters. Could have taken Jaden Blue as the bring back. Daniels and Lawrence, Genty, Montgomery, Pollard, Urendo, Bigsby, Brian Thomas Jr., Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Roma Dunze, Trey Harris, Evan Ingram, and Brenton Strange. Funny to have Ingram and Strange together. Any thoughts on Tez Johnson? Not clicking him myself. Sure. I mean, there is correlation inside of divisions, right? I mean, that is just they're gonna play each other twice. There's no way around it. Of course, those guys are correlated. But I wouldn't say they're correlated in necessarily the weeks that you really care about. I wonder, maybe I'll do a 3-6-6-3 on this team, just to see what it's like, just to see what's going on out there. You never know. Yeah, drafting same division. That's more of a weekly winner strategy. Catching all the falls here at 8. My man, he gets A-Chain at 17, Chase Brown at 32, Tet at 41, Caleb at 80, Kyler at 104. You are catching some good ones. Boston Bacterial Meeting 6. Lots of people from my lab went to a conference called Boston Bacterial Meeting. Hearing BBM, that's really funny. The Boston Bacterial Meeting, also known as Best Ball Mania 6. All right, one more wide receiver here. I probably just take Diami. Probably just round 15, Diami Brown. Look at how far we've come. I don't love all these non-correlated Jaden Daniels teams, but also at the same point, it's like, what's the point of correlating with Noah Brown? No, I have not drafted any of the cash game stuff. That used to be all best ball was, brother. All right, Genty, Montgomery, Pollard, Guerrero, Bigsby. Let's do DJ Giddens. He's a bring back and also just like a good pure handcuff. No, I did not completely skip the Superflex puppy. I think I did like 15 entries in the Superflex puppy. It's just no, I will not be doing the round 18 Senate. Honestly, Ingram and Strange is probably a fine tight end room. I probably don't need a third. It's probably whatever. Oh, I just realized I don't have the sidekick pulled up. No sidekick, no draft caddy. No wonder these teams all look the same. Probably, I could get away with one more wide receiver. Do you guys think Brian Thomas Jr., McLaurin, Olave, Rome, Trey Harris, Diami Brown? Do you think I need 8? Man, give me one positive Taysom Hill report. Give me Taysom Hill further than expected. Taysom Hill on the pup instead of the designated for return IR. What if I win it all on the non-sidekick team? My brain would have been The Sims the entire time. Ryan says Taysom Hill ain't playing. This Ryan wants me to have 7 wide receivers. Yeah, I forget how old he is. He's 34, coming back from a catastrophic knee injury. I would assume that probably there will be some sort of fantasy football contest released over the weekend of July 4th, but don't quote me, Daniel. I have no idea. I have no insights, but I do know. Last year they released what did they call it? The 4th down, the 4th and goal. They released some contest on the 4th of July last year. I maxed the Superflex puppy, and I live in the dead center of Montana. That's where I was born, Wilby. I have a 3-hour drive to Wyoming to enter them, looking to dust off $750 plus gas money. What are you, a Superflex fiend, brother? Do you just love Superflex? Yeah, Billings, Montana, baby. That's my boy. Ball is Life is a big puppy Superflexer. Well, shout out to you, brother. All right. All right. One more wide receiver. You know what? Let's do a Jaden. Whatever. I'll take a Dante Thornton. Sure. I mean, he's probably not any good, but what if he is? Superflex slow hell sounds like Dante's 9th level. All right. Need a running back. I guess I don't really need a running back. You know what? Let's take an Anthony Richardson. You never know. Superflex bros do love drafting a 6th round Daniel Jones. The team is a 3-6-7-2. Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson. The Anthony Richardson thing is just obviously either way you feel stupid. You feel stupid to have spent any pick at all on Anthony Richardson. But then at the same point, if Anthony Richardson is starting in week 4, you're like, wait, why was I not taking Anthony Richardson? I would say I'm Dante Thornton curious. Wouldn't say I am pro or neg on Dante Thornton. Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson, Ashton Genty, David Montgomery, Tony Pollard, Isaac Urendo, Tank Bigsby, DJ Giddens, Brian Thomas Jr., Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Rome Odunze, Trey Harris, De'Ami Brown, Dante Thornton, Evan Ingram, and Brendan Strange. You know what? Let's just let's do another one. I don't have an immediate call or anything that I've got to do. So we will go ahead and do another Pitbull. Did we get another 11? No chance, dude. No chance. Okay. Another 11. I don't know many channels that have a professional loading screen. I'm saying. My puppy is very close to full go, Dave. She's feeling good, but she's not allowed to run or jump or do anything right now, so she kind of hates her life. Pitbull starts out of the 111 again. She would really like to go on a really, really long walk and go and sniff some other dogs and hang out, but life is not gifted her that one. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let me pull. The thing is I can't do it in Google Chrome, so I got to pull it up in another window. Drafts active. The Pitbull. Go to draft. There we go. Stop screen, present, share screen, window, bang. There we go. Got the caddy back. Maybe this one will be the shipper. All right, I am going to take Genty again. Truth Serum, worst pick on the board. I think the worst price player on the board is Terry McLaurin. But I don't want to have 0 Terry McLaurin. Does the screen work in Brave? No, I don't. It doesn't. It does not work in Brave. All right. Okay, I took BTJ last time. Let's take A-Chain this time. Got to do something different. Not running back the same thing. Yeah, I don't love Cup either. Cup feels like it feels like this season will be the last time Cooper Kupp is drafted in fantasy drafts. No, I like Nico. I like Nico. I like Nico a lot. I just kind of take those guys in the order that they are drafted. Jared says he can't pick Andrew Ladd McConkey in the second round. Yeah, Genty A-Chain is a left-wing anarchist. CD does not feel like a trap to me. I have one auto-drafted Cup, and it feels like I've been shot. Tough. Best value player at ADP. Who is the best value? It's one of the Jaguars running backs. It's Tootin or Bigsby for me. You guys see this gnarly zit I have here? A right wing slappy is like someone who like only relies on ball knowing. Like a right wing slappy is someone who like loves film. They're like, oh man, look at his footsteps. Look at the foot frequency. I did see the tweet talking up Lequint Allen over Tootin. I'm not buying it yet. Kyle Williams. It's hard for me to see Kyle Williams being the story of the season. I'm a McCaffrey doomer. I do take a lot of Guerrero. I mean, Green Party is just a further left wing slappy. That's just pretty slappy. That's just pretty slappy. Man, I oh shit, I'm on the clock. No, I'm not. I zagged out in the other window. I ran so bad the last couple days. I was out walking, doing pit bull drafts, and ran into like random dead zones and had quarterback starred. So I had like a 4th round Matt Stafford. I think one of them was a Lamar team, and I had like a 5th round Mark Andrews. I had this happened to me twice. You would think that I would have learned, but I did not learn, and I did it again. It happened to me twice. So many such cases of me not learning anything. Sad to have not learned anything. And you don't have that many Pitbull entries. It should be a Verizon commercial. Verizon should do a commercial with me. And they should tell me, we'll never let you have Mark Andrews in round 5 again. Michael Pittman Jr. in the 3rd round last year, peak right wing slappy. Yes, Rusty Shackelford absolutely nailed it. You want to hear a real tragedy? I was drafting and driving an auto Nick Chubb in a dead zone. Well, how early in the draft? All right, we're giving it to him. This is the exact opposite of anything else I've done today. 3 straight elite running backs. Ashton Genty, Devin A-Chain, and one Mr. Breece Hall. This will give us a different texture to this team. Just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. My guy behind me is auto drafting, I think. So tough scene for him. Happy to do, honestly, any of these players is my wide receiver 1. Maybe we'll go DJ Moore and try and do Rome. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take DJ Moore, and I'm going to try and get Rome Adunze. Breece Hall is super left wing slappy. Daniel lost service as soon as he started drafting his solo entry corgi. Autopilot drafted me 4 quarterbacks and 5 tight ends. Yes, this is the Gilbert Arenas conundrum. I see stats about deaths on the highway, and I now blame 2% of them on David Kitchen. If you've ever wondered if Breece Hall is a left wing slappy, you might be a slappy. Yes, C Money does make a great point here, which is that you do need to set your positional limits. That is just good advice. Although you might end up like me last year when I was trying to take Sion Vaki, Detroit Lions running back, and ended up taking Geno Smith, which ended up being the better pick. If Josh and Hayden's underdog YouTube videos offend you, you might be a slappy. You just might. You just might be a slappy. You should have gotten a notification in your app, Caden, or there is a tweet on the Underdog Drafts account that will let you know about the Underdog promo for $50 back. Man, how do you bail yourself out of this hole at wide receiver? Yeah, you got to set. So first off, you have to set the auto limits. And then also it also helps to have rankings in there. If you've ever drafted 37% of Xavier Worthy in Best Ball Mania, you might be a slappy. But yes, this is definitely true, Peppertoni, that the limits can sometimes screw you over in later rounds if you're using your queue, particularly if you have it set on 2 quarterbacks. If you've ever been offended by someone's fantasy football takes in February, you might be a slappy. Oh, come on. Mike Evans is the worst round 3 pick. If you advanced less than 7% of your teams last year, you might be a slappy. I was an Estime slappy, hurdling dudes on film. Yeah, then he ran like the slowest 40 of all time. Yeah, for sure. This team might be 3 rookie wide receivers. This might be like a Jack Besh. This might be like a Torrey Horton team. By the way, 347 of you are watching live on YouTube right now. I have not asked this question in a while. Have any of you guys seen an advertisement? Any of you guys seen an ad on YouTube? It's fine if you haven't, but I'm wondering if any of you have, because I don't have a great sense. All right, I did get Rome as the wide receiver 2, so double Bears. If you've ever referred to redraft as managed, you may be a slappy. No ads, YouTube Red, nope. Got premium. Okay, Joey saw an ad. YouTube Premium. All right, mini YouTube Premium havers here. Ad block. Johnny's got the ad block. If you're arguing with Buck St. Thomas in the Davis-Matic Discord, you are most definitely a slappy. Most definitely. All right, you guys ready for this? You guys are going to be so mad. You guys are going to be so pissed off. Should I take RJ Harvey? Yeah, I'm going to. Elite running back, dude. Wide receivers don't matter. They're all the same. Well, Daniel, don't you want my family to eat? Look at this cute little dog, Daniel. Every time you get an ad, that dog gets a treat. My eyes are bleeding. See, Joey's a real one. He gets ads and he doesn't skip. I probably should have gone 3 running backs, but man, RJ Harvey's points not even mattering feels really good. Ooh, set up 7 slow drafts while I'm in Greece, only to realize I have 0 access to Underdog. Yeah, mini Many such cases. There were a couple guys last year who got like locked out of their underdog accounts. Man, Jared, let me tell you, if you watch a lot of YouTube, it's actually unreal how much it helps. It's actually crazy how much YouTube Premium increases your quality of life. Wow, Charlie coming in with the alpha. You can draft on underdog in Greece and Europe. You just have to use the phone app, not desktop. UD desktop doesn't work in Europe for slows, but on the phone does. Last year I was drafting on my flight to Italy. Can you draft on underdog in the middle of the ocean? Has anyone tried this? Has anyone tried to draft on underdog fantasy in the middle of the ocean? It doesn't work. Do planes do Wi-Fi? Well, yeah, planes obviously have Wi-Fi. Middle of the ocean is good, per Damien. How many YouTube subs? I mean, how many YouTube ads? Yeah, I think you can't draft on plain Wi-Fi. All right. We have got Genty, A-Chain, Brees, Harvey. One of our wide receiver picks is sadly going to have to be a quarterback. Well, here's the real question. Caleb Williams' average draft position is 109. I pick at 107. What's going to happen? Am I going to get snapped off? Can't afford Igbukah here. I got to take Mooney. Oh no, another week 5 bye. Oh no, another week 5 bye. Oh no, dude. I occasionally let the word slappy out to non-fantasy bros and they have no idea what I'm talking about. All right, the bye week bros, they're out to get me. This is a Michael Pittman Jr. ass team. Please, okay, he doesn't have a week 5 bye. Yeah, this is Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be the most important player in the world to me in week 5. Oh, and he goes. Oh, that is sickening. Oh, we are in so much trouble. Oh no. All right, Emeka Igbukah, you better be good, brother. Drafting next to the greatest fantasy football player of all time, Jay Herzig. No, that was not the sidekicks doing. That was all me. Oh, dude. That was a brutal run of results right there. Taking the week 5 bye. I should have taken Michael Pittman Jr. and then taken whoever came back around. Yeah, I gotta hope Godwin is somewhere else. Man. All right. So we've got a 4-4 build right now with Genty, A-Chain, Brees, Harvey, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Darnell Mooney, and Emeka Igbukah. We are sweating Caleb Williams getting back to us. Is Godwin playing week 1? I don't think anyone knows if Godwin is playing in week 1. I don't think the sidekick thinks that at all. It's just based on whatever rankings you got in there. I don't think this draft is shot yet, but if I don't land the plane, it's pretty shot if the plane is not landed. I don't think there's been any definitive answer one way or the other on when. Well, I have Demario Douglas and Wan'Dale Robinson ranked ahead of ADP, I think. Oh, Burrow fell to 70. All right, Burrow fell to 70 in this room. Although not to the T. Higgins or Jamar Chase drafter. Have you ever considered making shorts of stream recaps? Well, it's not easy to put together. If it was easy to put together, I would do it. That would take, I'd have to go back through and watch. It would be a whole thing. When 0 RB goes wrong. Hayden actually told me it's optimal to draft your first wide receiver in round 7. Wow, Mahomes is still on the board. Okay, there we go. He got auto-picked. All right. Man, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, Rashid Shaheed, all potentially very important to this team as well. No, don't get me wrong, brother. It's a great idea. It would be very useful and very helpful. I just don't have the time for it. All right. So we were able to push Caleb Williams around. The sidekick, though, did you guys see that? The sidekick thinks I'm so desperate for wide receiver that I should have taken Trey Harris there over Caleb Williams. That is really funny. The sidekick said, brother, do you know you don't have any wide receivers? Where am I at in the Reed versus Golden Wars? I am team Jay Reed, and we got Trey Harris anyway. So we got our 2 rookie wide receivers. We got our double stack. Dare I say it, boys, the plane is on track. We haven't landed it yet, but the plane is at least encroaching upon an area where it could land. We could probably just do one. Oh, I literally misspoke. Sorry. Too much going on. This is my 5th hour streaming today. Yes, I am Golden over Jaden Reed. Sorry. Misspoke. Golden over Jaden Reed. I prefer Jaden Reed. Well, they are sort of similar. Oh my God, dude. People are saying I might need to get more sleep. I prefer Matthew Golden over Jaden Reed. I prefer Matthew Golden to Jaden Reed. I have Matthew Golden ranked ahead of Jaden Reed in both half PPR and full PPR fantasy. Both of them are good selections. The plane may have lost both engines and split in half on a magical island with a smoke monster and a deity, but it landed. One of my favorite shows of all time. I have my forearm tattoos are from Lost, Tone. No, we're not landing. This is not a Sully Sullenberger team. This is a nice, smooth, easy landing team. We're feeling really good. The numbers, no, not the numbers. I've lived together, die alone on my forearms. Crash landing does not count. We're about to do a real hyper fragile team. Cue the Evanescence track. Lost is great. I have a friend that won't watch it because he thinks he was spoiled on the ending. Yes, it is unspoilable. It's completely unspoilable. You cannot spoil Lost. Man, the issue is there's absolutely no wide receiver to take here. There really isn't. Like, what wide receiver do we even want here? All right, we'll take J. Herbie. Feeling good about that. And we could take really any of these tight ends actually are fine. I guess we probably want Loveland. See, I like all the seasons of Lost. I like season 6. I like season 5. A lot of people don't like season 6. Psychic was definitely anxious to give you possible Trey Harris zeros. Yeah, got to do Loveland. Another week 5 bye. Cooking the week 5 buys right now. No one's better. What's an example of something slappy IRL that isn't a fantasy football pick? It's a really good question. If my brain was working better, I would be firing at this, but my brain right now is a little slapped out. Brunch is pretty good. Brunch is for slaps. Just like anything extra and over the top. Iron covers. Kombucha, which I love. Very slappy. Gluten-free bagels. Pickleball. McGriddles. McGriddles are slappies only. McGriddles are slappies only. Matcha. Yes, iced coffee. Iron covers. Iron covers spelled slappy to me. Air fryers. Ninja creamies. Slappy. Split diopter. If you tell everyone oh dude, you gotta watch Severance, you might be a slappy. Being the loud, annoying guy in your sauna. Slappy. Cold plunges. Slappy. Yes, cold brew is slappier than iced coffee. Exposed brick inside your apartment. Slappy. Teslas, electric vehicles, slappy. Dude wipes, slappy. TSA pre-check, huge slappy move. I'm just using sauna. I'm just using slappy for both senses. Yerba mate. Yes. Any kind of South American herbal drink, super slappy. Chipotle is kind of slappy. I mean, I don't really want to give it to you, but I guess I should. Chick-fil-A. People who eat Chick-fil-A 3 times a week. Super slappy. Most slappy thing I can think of though is $7 iced coffees. Yes. For those of you who are not members of the Davis Maddock YouTube channel, we started 2 dynasty leagues, and we are in a we're doing a slow auction draft for these 2 dynasty leagues, and it is already getting pretty slaptacular. Yes, just dude wipe. Rock climbing, very slappy. Jared eats Chick-fil-A 3 times a day. You might be a slappy, brother. You might be a slappy. All right. Man, we are just gonna need any freaking wide receiver points. It's not gonna take that long. It doesn't take as long as you think. Pat Bryant. If you take Pat Bryant as your wide receiver 6 on a hyperfragile running back team, you might be a slappy. No, skateboarding is not slappy. Bad read. Guys who practice their golf swing at the bar or at a house party or at a social event, very slappy. Guys who are doing, let me make this pick and I'll show you guys. And the only reason I know how to do this is because it's me. All right, got to take Wandale. All right. Guys who do this. That guy, huge slappy. Big slappy. And I can say that because it's me. I'd be doing that shit all the time. I'd be doing that shit all the time, Lil Dodger. I'll be anywhere. I'll be with my wife. I'll be with my family. I'll be at the gym. Brother, I'll be at the gym with that big, nice mirror. Be like, oh man, can you get shallow? Can you get shallow or can you not get shallow? What else is slappy? Getting your tires rotated. Slappy. No, this is the opposite of slappy. No, she hates it. Brother, she hates it. Mowing at 7 a.m. I don't think that's slappy. I don't think that's slappy. I think that is just taking care of your neighborhood. Yeah, joining a Discord. Very slappy. Just Discord as an entity in general couldn't get more slappy. Doing pull-ups on the monkey bars at the playground while your kid is playing. You might be a slappy. Oh, doing your own garden. Oh my gosh, Run Club, insanely slappy. Yes. Apple Watches, Whoop bands, Aura rings. This isn't an Aura ring. I don't think Zins are slappy. I think Zins is predominant culture now. Yes, if you know what heart rate variability is, AirPods are slappy. AirPods. Heavy correlation between yuppie and slappy. Getting made moderator of a Discord, just any Discord, super slappy. Honestly, real cigarettes are more slappy now because Zins and vapes are so big. I see. I don't think everyone has AirPods. That's a misnomer. Working from home. If you work from home, you might be a rucking, very slappy. I don't know if I buy this. I don't know if Japanese wrestling is slappy. Not sure I can co-sign. All right, and bang. Oh, we didn't get to Mario Douglas. We can always get Alec Pierce, though. Alec Pierce, perfect wide receiver 8 on this team. I think it's more just being really into Japanese culture in terms of being that's real slappy behavior. The issue is that no one knows what a slappy is. Yeah, anime is very slappy. All right, got to figure out something here at tight. Wow, so tight end I'm gonna have to take 3 tight ends on this team. This is turning into a little bit of a nightmare. How many draft picks do I have left? All right, we got to take one more wide receiver. Darius Slayton. And then we're going to take 2 more tight ends, and we really are going to do 4 running backs. Oh, reading books like, yes, Outlive by Peter Attia. One of my favorite books, super slappy. Yeah, reading self-optimization, anything, super slappy. Talking about what constitutes a slappy, huge slappy. Yeah, life optimization in general is just pure slappy behavior. Insisting on smoking meat for hours in a dedicated smoker instead of just roasting in the oven, slappy. Yes, taking smoking meats super seriously. Ray-Ban sunglasses. I don't know about that one. That's borderline. No, I will not be maxing the Scott Fishbowl satellite. Are you maxing the Scott Fishbowl satellite? Generating draft reports on the Solver real-time assistant. Super slappy. All right, we have a 2-4-9-1 with Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert, Ashton Genty, Devin Achane, Breece Hall, RJ Harvey, DJ Moore, Roman Dunze, Darnell Mooney, Emeka Egbuka, Trey Harris, Pat Bryant, Wan'Dale Robinson, Alec Pierce, and Darius Slayton. Yes, you are correct. Gambling in general is not compatible with life optimization. Blackstone Grills, slappy. Yes, they are. Oh no. What am I at in running back week 12? Week 12, I am down to Genty and Breece Hall. Praying for him. 99% of gamblers quit before they optimize their life. Pat Freiermuth, there we go. Pat Freiermuth got drafted. I bet Waller's already gone. Yep. Waller went in at 169. Yes, if you even know what a banded mobilization is, you are a slappy. All right. This is probably a Juwan. Do we take a Chargers tight end? I guess we could just take Theo. And we do have the Genty correlation. I think it's totally fine to take Waller here. I think Waller at 169. Could take Gadsden. Oh yeah, if you've ever said the word seed oils, you're a slappy. All right, we're going to take Juwan. And you know what? We're going to live a little. Time block calendars. Slayton, Wan'Dale, and Theo, no dart. Can't do it. I'm going to take Aronde Gadsden. Bang. All right, you guys tell me, did we land the plane? Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert, Ashton Genty, Devin Achane, Breece Hall, RJ Harvey, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Darnell Mooney, Emeka Egbuka, Trey Harris, Pat Bryant, Wan'Dale Robinson, Alec Pierce, Darius Slayton, Colston Lovell, and Juwan Johnson, Aronde Gadsden. Saratoga Water, super slappy. I think that makes you a real man if you're chainsawing. Yeah, Dart would have been a good pick. Didn't do it though. It landed, but the prop is messed up. I think that is probably right. All right, boys. I am gonna get out of here. If you guys want to support me, you can go and check out that Fast Draft link. That's literally the easiest way for you to support me right now. Go and draft a best ball team on Fast Draft using promo code Davis. And yeah, I'll be back and I will see you guys tomorrow. Mr. Flock, Mr. Mason Dodd is joining.